Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Jai
Hare.
Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada.
Jaya 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 Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 6, verse number 34. Etadhi aturachittana. You can connect it wireless. I connect it. एतद्धियातुरचित्तानां मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छया मुहुः भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम् 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 एतद्ध्यातुरचित्तानां मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छया मुहुः भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम् एतद्ध्यातुरचित्तानां मात्रा स्पर्शेच्छया मुहुः भवसिन्धुप्लवो दृष्टो हरिचर्यानुवर्णनम् Word to word meaning. Etat, this, he, certainly, aturachittanam, of those whose minds are always full of cares and anxieties. Matra, objects of sense enjoyment. Sparsha, senses. Ichchaya, by desires. Muhu, always. Bhavasindhu, the ocean of nations. Plavaha, boat. Drishtaha, experienced. Haricharya, activities of Hari, the personality of Godhead. Anuvarnanam, constant recitation. Translation purport by John Gracie Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki. It is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects can cross the ocean of nescience on a most suitable boat, that is, the constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. The symptom of a living being is that he cannot remain silent, even for a moment, even for some time. He must be doing something, thinking of something, or talking about something. Generally, the materialistic men think and discuss about subjects which satisfy their senses. But as these things are exercised under the influence of the external illusory energy, such sensual activities do not actually give them any satisfaction. On the contrary, they become full with cares and anxieties. This is called Maya, or what is not. That which cannot give them satisfaction is accepted as an object for satisfaction. So, Narad Muni, by his personal experience, says that satisfaction for such frustrated beings engaged in sense gratification is to chant always the activities of the Lord. The point is that the subject matter only should be changed. No one can check the thinking activities of living being, nor the feeling, willing, or working processes. But if one wants actual happiness, one must change the subject matter only. Instead of talking of the politics of a dying man, one might discuss the politics administered by the Lord Himself. Instead of relishing activities of the cinema artists, one can turn his attention to the activities of the Lord with his eternal associates like the Gopis and Lakshmis. The Almighty Personality of Godhead, by His causeless mercy, descends on the earth and manifests activities almost on the line of the worldly men, but at the same time extraordinarily, because He is Almighty. He does so for the benefit of all conditioned souls so that they can turn their attention to transcendence. By doing so, the conditioned soul will gradually be promoted to the transcendental position and easily cross the ocean of nescience, the source of all miseries. This is stated from personal experience by such an authority as Sri Narada Muni. And we can have the same experience also if we begin to follow in the footsteps of the great sage, the dearmost devotee of the Lord. मम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Very humble here, sitting on Vyasasana, though not qualified just because of the instruction of my superiors, trying to speak something about Srimad Bhagavatam for my own purification and glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam and Supreme Lord Krishna. So this verse also talks about that today. Etad yatura chittana matra sparshechaya muhu bhava sindhu plavo drushto haricharyanu varnanam. So very apt verse. So it says that we are constantly in fear and anxiety because of contact of senses with the sense objects. So because of that, we are in constant fear and anxiety. Why fear and anxiety? Because the sense and sense objects, when they come in contact, the pleasure that arises is very temporary. It means we are fearful that okay, that pleasure will go away, so I cannot experience the constant happiness. So that is one fear. And anxiety, what is the anxiety in material happiness? Sense gratification. One is, when will I get? Another is the lot of effort that goes in before to attain that little sense pleasure. Correct. So a lot of effort, lot of it is like X amount of pleasure and 2x amount of misery, or whatever, 2x or 100x or 1000x, whatever it is. So once when Radheshampra was telling, for doing sense gratification or say sinful activity, lot of effort is required. Means sometimes we think, Hare, for Krishna consciousness we have to do a lot of austerity, so much of effort is required and things like that. But actually to do sinful activity is lot more difficult. Why? For chanting Hare Krishna, we don't pay anything. Correct? It's free of cost. You just have to chant Hare Krishna and you'll get the result. But to perform sinful activity, for example, to drink liquor, before that you have to get money. For money, again you have to do hard work and get money, and then when you go and spend that money and get liquor bottle. So before that there was misery, and while drinking also there is misery. Actually, initially, if you see, I have not seen, but I've heard that people, they actually really struggle to drink. I heard actually one boy was there. He was in Electronic City. He initially first year of working, so they took him to party, and then what they do in party mainly, all break all four regulative principles. So he was forced to drink, though he was like, he was upcoming devotee, means he is coming chanting, and also he told, no, 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 I don't like all this and things like that. But they told, no, no, you have to. The more he resisted, the more they forced him that you have to drink, and some more they forced him. So he drank a little bit, and it was so horrible, he was telling. So initially when the people drink, it is a great misery. So while before that and while drinking and after that also, misery continues, because liver cirrhosis and so many other diseases come and things like that. So to do sinful activity is actually a great austerity. It's a lot of anxiety is there involved. um, and so that is the fear. One is to lose that whatever he has, and one more is that there is a lot of anxiety to get money and spend it in such a way that to do sense gratification, and also and a lot of effort, 2x amount of misery, as I was telling. So in this world we try for happiness, but it's not only happiness, always it is associated with misery. It's like a coin, you throw it, when it comes, it can come head or tail. So not that the coin has both the sides head. I think I was hearing there was some movie where the whole thing is about the head tail, but every time it was coming one only, and later they got to know it was both sides was head only. So but in material world it is not like that. So it is all dualities. When you try for happiness, it is inherent with misery. So it is told, it is a, what is a Sanskrit word, it is pregnant with misery. Dukkha yoni, correct. So what is that verse? ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्यन्तवन्त कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः. ये हि संस्पर्शजा bhoga means when the material senses come in contact with sense objects, then what happens? There is some pleasure arised, but it is pregnant with misery. Dukkha yonoya evate, that pleasure is pregnant with misery. Anytime it can deliver that misery to you. And then Adi Antavanta Kaunteya, such pleasures have end and beginning. So Nateshu Ramate Buddha. The Buddha, those who are intelligent, they don't actually take pleasure in this sense gratification. That's what it says. So it is pregnant with misery. So it's like, for example, whatever example you can take. For example, gulab jamun. So you want to eat gulab jamun one, two. You want to eat more. Then what happens? Maybe 5 6, somebody may have capacity of 20, somebody maybe 50. I don't know. Rajasthan, I think they eat a lot of sweets. So they may eat 50 also, but beyond that it will be very difficult. You will have to go to bathroom again and again, right? So it is pregnant with misery. And just think, this gulab jamun, whatever you're eating, it is because of the tongue. Correct. So just the one, there is one layer of plastic on the tongue. So can we actually experience the happiness of gulab jamun? No, right? So it is basically it is designed in that way. It is senses and sense objects. When they come in contact, there is some pleasure arisen, and at the same time, it will deliver misery. Yeah. So this is about, yeah, misery and then the sense objects, etc., etc. But there is a solution for it. So actually, Brahma created all this, whatever you see, this palette and then the sense objects, senses, everything, and then whole material world actually created so that the living entities can go back to Godhead. They should understand that array, this material is not meant for happiness, but it is only misery is there. So let me go back to Godhead where there is happiness and then serve the Lord happily there. But we are trying for happiness here, right? So in that way, but what is the solution to get out of it? Here it is given in the translation what it says. Yeah, it's personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects can cross the ocean of nations on a most suitable boat. The constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. So this is the solution given. So Prabhupada also in Harpati writes that we cannot stop the activities of the senses. We have to talk, we have to think, we have to will, we have to smell, we have to see. Correct, no? So eyes are there, so we cannot stop seeing. But we can only change the subject matter. We want to see something beautiful, so see the beautiful form of Krishna. So the form of Krishna. So how beautiful it is. In Bhagavatam, so many verses describe the beautiful form of Krishna. So we can recite, we can remember those verses, and even if we are not in front of the deities, just by reciting those verses, remembering the meaning, we can see the beautiful form of Krishna. So think of Krishna, thinking, willing, feeling, everything we can engage in Krishna. There's one verse which says, three verses are there usually we chant, yeah, about the beauty. One is told by Brahmaji, another is told by who is that? Brahmana Patnis, and then yeah, one more is Gopis. So there's very nice verses. Maybe we can just, but yeah, no need to recite. I think you can see. So it comes. One starts like this: Naumedhyate abhravapushe tadidambaraya कुञ्जावतांस परिपिच्छलसन्मुखाय वन्यस्रजे कवलवेत्रविषाणवेणु लक्ष्मश्रिये मृदुपदे पशुपाङ्गजाय. So he says, Lord Brahma, now immediately Abhravapushe Tadidambaraya. So his dress is like a lightning. The yellow dress garment is wearing. Then Gunjavatamsa Paripicha Lasanmukhaya. So his face is filled with a beautiful smile, and then he's wearing the garland of Gunjamala. So and then Vanyasraje Kavalavetra Vishana Venu. So he's holding the flute, and then he's wearing the garland of forest flowers. And then he says, Lakshma Shriye Mrudupade Pashupangajaya. So Pashupangaja means he is the son of the covered man, that is Nanda Maharaj. And then Lakshma Shriye Mrudupade, and his feet are very soft, Mrudupade. So he is walking on the ground. So it is told his feet are pinkish. So you see somebody very white, and then usually blood will you'll be able to see that pinkish color. Like that, Krishna's feet also very pinkish. So just by seeing you'll be attracted. So very soft also. So gopis also tell that when he's walking on the forest, in the forest, they are just meditating how Krishna is walking, and then he might be feeling little distressed because there will be thorns, pebbles, etc. As leg is, I mean, feet is very soft and things like that. So like that, they are always remembering Krishna. So like this, we can just meditate on the beautiful form of the Lord. We can see the beautiful form of the Lord, and with the ears, instead of hearing some cinema music or whatever Prabhupada says, we can hear the Kirtan, yes, and then constant glorification of the Lord, just like this translation says. Somebody Haricharyanu Vardhanam. And then with the nose, we can smell the flowers offered to the Lord, the Narsima oil that is offered to the Lord. We can smell the wonderful Tulsi leaves offered to the Lord. And then with the tongue we can taste the prasadam that is offered to the Lord. Instead of eating street food, we can prepare the same thing in the voice base or temple, and we can offer it to the Lord, and then we can honor it as prasadam. So that will purify us, whereas the other thing will actually putrefy us. So both are very different. We may think, Array, that is also same thing, no? What is it? Just take it in the mind, you offer it and eat it. So, but it is prepared by somebody. Actually, it is told when somebody cooks, the consciousness of a person enters into the food. So anything that is cooked on fire, right? So usually outside, whenever we go, also sometimes we just take some fruits and then we offer and take it. So anything that is cooked, the consciousness of person is involved. So we also get the same consciousness. He may be cooking to get nice business, nice money, and then we also get the consciousness of getting more and more money, greedy, lusty, and all those thoughts keep coming. So we should be very careful what we eat. We offer, basically the standard of prasadam is cooked by a devotee, offered by a devotee, and served by a devotee. That is the highest standard. So at least some standard we need to follow. Okay, so that is about eating, tongue, and then touch. We can touch the beads that are there while chanting, and then while dancing, we touch the bodies of the devotees. So in that way, sense of touch can be utilized. You can touch the Lord's form while worshipping, while cleaning, or while of doing abhishek, etc., etc. So that way, Prabhupada says here, we don't have to stop the activities of the senses, but we just have to change the subject matter to Krishna. So instead of sense objects, there should be Krishna. So that is the thing here. And the Haricharyanu Varnanam means basically describing the glories of the Lord. It is told Kirtanam is the best process, in the sense Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is told that there are nine processes of bhakti. What are they? श्रवणं कीर्तनं विष्णोः स्मरणं पादसेवनम् अर्चनं वन्दनं दास्यं सख्यम् आत्मनिवेदनम् इति पुंसार्पिता विष्णो भक्तिश्चेन्नवलक्षणा क्रियेत भगवत्यद्धा तन्मन्ये अधीतमुत्तमम्. So he says iti pumsarpita Vishnu. So we have to offer these 9 limbs of bhakti in devotion to Lord Vishnu. Then create a Bhagavat Adda Tanmanya Aditam Uttamam. So these are the highest processes, limbs of bhakti, says. And then Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that there are Navavidha Bhakti, and then Taramadhe Sarvasreshta Nama Sankirtan. So basically, he says that amongst all these 9 processes, there is one that is the more glorious and more benefiting, that is Nama Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy names or chanting of the holy fame, that is the glorification of the Lord, the pastimes, the birth and activities of the Lord. So it may seem very simple, but it is very effective. Even we had gone recently to Yatra in Vrindavan. There is always Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Kartik Yatra. So there, Maharaj was describing wonderful pastimes of the Lord. Sometimes we have heard the same pastime, Govardhan pastime, okay, Krishna is lifting Govardhan and things like that. So somebody may think, it is boring. So what great thing is there? But with faith, when we hear the same pastime again and again, actually devotees experienced, those who actually heard with that faith and with that eagerness, greediness, that is what is the prize in Krishna consciousness. That Rupa Goswami says, what is that? Laulyam tadapi ekalam moolam, means the laulya means the intense greed to attain Krishna. That is the only price you have to pay to attain Krishna. That's what he says. So with that intensity, with that greediness, with that eagerness, when we hear the same pastime again and again with faith, that will purify our heart completely. So many devotees experienced also. We are hearing same pastime, but we felt something new, very amazing. We felt completely our senses are like stable, in the sense not hankering for sense gratification. They became very numb. Even chanting of the holy name produces the same effect. Correct? Rupa Goswami, sorry, who tells that? Rupa Goswami only, I think. Tunde Tandavini Ratim Vitanute Tundavali Labdhaye कर्णक्रोडकदम्बिनी घटयते कर्णार्बुदेभ्यः स्पृहाम् चेथ प्राङ्गणसङ्गिनी विजयते सर्वेन्द्रियाणां कृतिम् नो जाने जनिता कियद्भिरमृतैः कृष्णेति वर्णद्वयी. So he says, how much nectar is there in this holy name? He is telling, I don't know how much nectar is there. Why? When I chant holy names of Krishna, so these two words, syllables, Krish and Na, I desire millions of years. Not 2 years are not sufficient. And then, sorry, basically mouths. So when I chant, I desire millions of mouths. And when I hear, 2 years are not sufficient. I desire millions of years. And then he says, when that holy name enters through the ear to the heart, to the courtyard of my heart, it conquers my heart and it conquers all the senses. Then all the senses become numb. Now they have no more hankering for sense gratification. To the touch of senses with sense objects, that hankering is not there by hearing the holy name. So it has a great effect. Whatever we are doing daily activities, that only we have to do it with more attention, with more faith, with more devotion. So when we do those activities with attention, with faith, then it will produce that effect what Rupa Goswami is telling. So when Haridas Thakur heard this verse, he was in ecstasy because he was already experiencing it. That oh amazing, this is the wonderful glorification of the holy name. I have never heard such a sweet glorification of the holy name. I've heard a lot of glorification of the holy name which talks about the greatness of holy name. Like example, just chanting the one holy name can remove the reactions of all the sinful activities that you may not be able to commit also. So many sinful activities, all that reactions it will remove. So like that, he has heard a lot of greatness of holy name, but I have never heard such wonderful glorification of the sweetness of the holy name of the Lord. Like that, Haridas Thakur goes into ecstasy hearing. So this is what we need to do: to come in contact with Krishna instead of sense objects. We need to search out where I can get the touch of Krishna. So in with all our senses, always we should be in contact with Krishna. And Hari Charyanu Varnanam we were discussing. So it is basically glorification of Lord's holy name and holy fame of the so when we do that, that will actually that will actually bring the true satisfaction of the heart. I think last few classes we might have heard about Nardamani and Vyasdev conversation. And then Nardamani is asking Vyasdev that Vyasdev is asking Nardamani, I am not satisfied. I have written so many Vedic literatures and everything I've done, but I'm not satisfied. I don't know. Basically, he was not satisfied. That time Nardmani comes, and that time he reveals his heart. So Lord will arrange, and we are sincere, like Vasudev was sincere. So Lord arranged Nardmani to come. Like that also, when we are sincere in our practice, so when we also have such difficulties, some dissatisfaction, actually our dissatisfaction is something else. Vasudev's dissatisfaction is another thing. So on another level, because we may be dissatisfied because of not getting good job, not getting good salary, or not getting some satisfaction in our own sense gratification. But Vasudev was a liberated personality. He is completely transcendental to all the three modes of goodness, passion, ignorance, and he has written all these literatures for the upliftment of the human society. So, in that transcendental platform, when he's situated, he is feeling dissatisfied. So, this dissatisfaction is something next level, not our dissatisfaction. So, in that time, when Nardmani comes and then Vasudev explains, and then Nardmani tells that what is the reason? Because you are not sufficiently and exclusively glorified Krishna. So that is the reason you are not satisfied. So you are not exclusively and sufficiently glorified Krishna. So that is the time when Vasudev, in his ultimate maturity, he writes this Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the literature that can give the ultimate satisfaction to everyone, to the humanity, to everyone. So that's how Vasudev wrote this Srimad Bhagavatam. And yeah, what we are telling. So this is the conversation that is going on, and now Nardmani is telling this, and then he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is basically, we can see this is preaching, right? That the Hari Charyananu Varnanam is basically the constant recitation of the holy fame of the Lord. So that brings satisfaction. So even in our life sometimes we can see so many difficulties will be there, so many things going on, but there are some devotees who actually they go on doing this glorification of the Lord, come what may in their life, they keep doing it, and we can see they're very blissful. So some there are like preaching doesn't mean only speaking about Krishna. See, it can be anything. So anything that brings people closer to Krishna. It may be deity worship. So with that mood, when somebody is worshipping, by my doing this wonderful decoration of the deities, that will attract people to Krishna. So that is also preaching. So cooking also is preaching. When somebody is cooking with that intention, that when I do this with wonderful attitude, with my devotion, with full heart, and when the people actually taste this Krishna prasad, so when it is offered to Krishna, when Krishna accepts and then people taste it, then they also become devotees. So that is also preaching. So any activity done with that intention to bring people close to Krishna is preaching. So devotees, when they're engaged in that activity, they're happy, they're blissful. Whatever difficulties are coming in their life, so it doesn't matter. But when we are not connected with that, the activity to give Krishna to others, then we think mainly about ourselves, my own comfort, my own, we become selfish basically. So in that selfishness, a lot of fears and anxieties increase, as this verse tells, because we are trying for the satisfaction of the senses when they come in contact with sense objects. So that is basically selfish, and that will create anxiety. But when we selflessly want to give Krishna to others, that will bring happiness to our life, the true satisfaction in our life. So but in our case, the preaching may be like what they call, it is like basically we need some engagement. So to just to engage ourselves, we may do something and we hear, make some lecture points, and then again speak it to others, so that we are engaged, our mind is not going here and there for sense gratification. So that is mainly our preaching. So our speaking about Krishna, etc., etc. But when pure devotees, when they speak about Krishna, that is completely out of love and compassion, that is like overflowing. They love Krishna so much, and they just want to, it is like a overflow of their love, they're completely filled till the brim. So it is overflowing like a glass filled to the brim. So Krishna, so much Krishna, Krishna, Krishna is there inside their heart, and now that is overflowing. That comes out in the form of preaching. And like we can see many examples, like Narad Muni himself. So he's completely filled with Krishna, and then he is going out everywhere giving Krishna to others. He's going to, from Vaikuntha, he's traveling all over the universe. He's going to earth, heaven, whatnot. All the places he goes, he, hellish conditions, everywhere he goes to preach Krishna consciousness. So he went to Mrigari, he went to, who is that? Valmiki. You can see Chitraketu, is Prachina Parishad. So, and is very innovative in his preaching also. So, very apt according to time, place, circumstance. He gives the solution. Went to Chitraketu and then he gave particular solution to that. So, basically, he gave a son, and then that son, he wanted son, and that son was named Harsha Shoka. It will give happiness and distress also. And then later, when the son died, he was in so much distress. That time he heard the actual philosophy of Krishna consciousness, or that you are not the body, soul, etc. And then for Prachina Parishat, he told a story that is an allegorical story. So because he's a king, he has already experience of enjoying with queens and things like that. So explained that there is a very nice kingdom and it has 7 doors, nine doors and things like that. So it is basically very indirectly preached in an interesting story. And then later, Prachina Parishad himself understood, it seems like it's my story only. So that way, very indirectly, even to the Haryashvas, Narad Muni spoke in a very intellectual manner. So they were very intellectuals. So they went to forest and they were doing, basically Daksha's sons. They went to forest and they were doing meditation, and basically for the purification of the heart before entering Grihastha ashram. So Daksha wanted his children to enter into Grihastha ashram, but go and do austerity before entering Grihastha ashram. So he sent them. They were doing austerities, and Narad Muni came there. So he knows exact time, place, circumstance, when to come, whom to deliver, what time. So he came there and he described allegories again, but they were all very difficult to understand. Even if you read that now, very difficult to understand what is Narad Muni meaning by this. He says that there is a hole where one enters, one cannot get outside of it. And he says that there is a house made of 25 ingredients. And then he says there is a duck, and then it is going and it is making noise, some sound. It's simply like one statement, and we'll wonder what is this duck and it is making some noise. What is it to do with the spirituality? Duck making some sound, quack 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 quack. Correct. So, but Haryashvas understood it. So very amazingly, the duck making sound they understood as shastras, scriptures. So basically, Paramahamsas or swan, not actually duck, swans making sound. So Paramahamsas, the words emanating from the mouth of pure devotees or scriptural injunctions. So like that, they understood this world is basically made up of 25 elements. So Nardmuni told house made of 25 ingredients. So we should know understand that how to get out of this material world. If not, if we keep engaging in fruitive activities, what is the use? Like that, they understood all the allegories. So for intellectual people, if you would have directly told philosophy, they would not have appreciated. They would like to decode, use their intelligence and decode. So accordingly, he gave the encoded version. So they decoded it and they were very happy to learn, and they themselves came to conclusion now we have to renounce, and they became brahmacharis. Afterwards, there is a long story. Daksha became very angry on Nardmuni, and Nardmuni even went to Daksha also. If somebody is angry, usually brahmacharis don't want to meet the parents of GS boys or whatever, those who want to join. So if they join, otherwise they'll be very angry on the brahmachari. So basically, but Nardmuni went to Daksha. Why? Again, out of compassion. He thought now Daksha is lost his children and he might be in a detached mode. So let me go and preach him, then he'll also become devotee. So he wanted to deliver Daksha also. So that was his mood of compassion. So that is the preaching of pure devotees like Narada Muni. They are completely filled with Krishna, and the overflow that is coming out of their heart is their preaching. And even we can see Prabhupada. So how amazingly he went to the West. So he was very happy here. He was in Radha Damodar temple. We went there. Very nice atmosphere in Vrindavan, sitting and then completely remembering Krishna and then writing books. So, but he went to the West, and that too at the age of 70. And he was going, he had heart attacks and whatnot. And going there, basically, many people went to West and they were staying in like good places. I think, I don't know names, basically, the lot of yogis, babas, very nice New York uptown, basically. And then very good places in the hotels they were staying and preaching and all that. But Prabhupada, when he went to West, where did he stay? In the Bowery. So where in the downtown, like where all the hippies were staying. That is like a rejected place. Nobody will walk even there. There were snipers. Means they will just shoot. Whoever comes, they'll just shoot, and he may die also. And then Prabhupada was fearless. He told Rakhe Krishna Mare Krishna Rakhe ke. So you just whomever Krishna wants to protect, then he cannot be killed. Whomever Krishna wants to kill, he cannot be protected at any cost. With that fearlessness. So here we are talking about fears and anxieties that is coming because of sense gratification. But Prabhupada was fearless because he was always doing Haricharyanu Varnanam. So that way he was glorifying the Lord, and then he went, stayed there, and then he was preaching. And then he also very wonderful preacher, you can see according to time, place, circumstance. Once there were people, hippies, they were taking drugs. So Timothy Leary and all these people, they were promoting these drugs, mainly LSD. So that LSD, I don't know if there is some full form for it. So LSD, we use that LSD for sleeping, left side down. After prasad, if you want to sleep, you should keep your left side down. So upper shoulder should be above. So when you sleep left side down, then digestion will happen nicely. You should not sleep basically after prasadam. So you have to walk, but you're too much sleepy, then you have to sleep left side down, LSD. So they were taking a lot of LSDs. And one hippie came to the Prabhupada's class and he raised his hand, Prabhupada. And then they thought maybe he was having some question. And Prabhupada stopped and asked. Then he said, so have you taken LSD? He was asking Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, no, I have not taken LSD. I have not even taken tea or coffee. Then he challenged Prabhupada. Then how can you reject LSD? How can you say it is bad? You have not tasted it. You have not experienced it. And then Prabhupada, what he said? He said, yes, I have not taken LSD, but my students here who are sitting, they have taken LSD. So you can ask them. Then he told Hayagriva, so Howard that time, you get up, you tell him about it. Then he had experience of LSD also, he had experience of Krishna consciousness also. So then he explained how LSD and it how it takes high and then brings it down. But chanting Hare Krishna is like LSD. What is that? Staying high forever. You don't have to come down again, take more LSD and spend so much money, etc. You chant and you always stay high forever. When he explained it, then all of them kept quiet. So in that way, Prabhupada, according to time, place, circumstance, once he was giving lecture and then in that 26 Second Avenue, in that matchless gift shop, and there were a lot of vehicles going outside, and then some cars and trucks and all. And then Prabhupada said, he was talking about body, soul, and then the journey of the soul, etc., etc. And then he said, see, you can see that the just now the car went like this, and then the car, before it came to your vision, it existed. And when it came to your vision, still it was there. And when it went out of your vision, still it car exists. So saying that, Prabhupada was telling that how soul exists all the time, eternally. So only sometimes it is coming into your vision in some particular material body, you see it. And then after death also it is continuing its journey. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So like that he started explaining. So very nicely in that way, Prabhupada also is a wonderful preacher. So he also was filled with Krishna always, and he was just giving Krishna out. That was just an overflow of Krishna in his heart. In that way, yeah, Prabhupada also engaged everyone nicely. He's Radhesham Prabhu this time also, and every time he keeps sharing that wonderful contribution of Prabhupada is that he engaged. So many engagements he created for us. So that is wonderful actually. So otherwise, our senses are actually wanting something to do. Our mind, we are so passionate, want to do something, and then for every sense, for every activity, for every thought, Prabhupada has something. So Krishna consciousness is, he made it very easy because of these engagements. So that way we can see book distribution, then so many activities, cooking, prasadam, and then there is preaching, going out to schools, giving Bhagavad Gitas, and then somebody wants driving. There are some Vanaprasthas even in Pune, means they now they're done with everything, so they're like 60 or something, and they take bus and they drive the bus. So in that bus, some of the youths, the brahmacharis or something, they go and they distribute books, and then like that, so many engagements Prabhupada engaged them in. So even in the West, there are bus parties. They started the Other Damodar bus party, taking bus, going out, and then doing book distribution, and magazines and BBT. Printing itself is such a big activity. So all those BBT they're completely operated by devotees only. So in that way, so many things. Painting. Vidurani Mataji, she came and engaged her in painting. So she was a painter. So initially they had not so much skills, but still Prabhupada said, whatever skill you have, you engage in Krishna consciousness, and that is the perfection of your skill. Sometimes they wanted to ask also that, like, let me go learn, but it will be materialistic atmosphere there outside. But maybe 1 2 years I need to learn painting nicely and then come back, and then I'll be able to paint nicely for Krishna. Then Prabhupada said, no, not needed, not required. You do it, and while serving Krishna, you'll attain perfection. So actually, Prabhupada himself guided them how to paint, how Krishna should look like. Sometimes they painted Krishna with biceps, with six packs and all that. So, but Prabhupada said, no, no, Krishna is very delicate, very soft bodied. Though he kills demons who have biceps or whatever, but Krishna is like that only. So he's like a young 16-year-old boy. So that then they understood and they were painting according to Prabhupada's direction. So Shyam Sundar Prabhu, so yeah, Shyam Sundar Prabhu. So he came and then he was a carpenter, and then Prabhupada engaged him in making altars. Even he carved the first Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra deities in ISKCON. So like that, whoever had any talent, Prabhupada engaged them. So he knew how to actually engage. That was the greatest contribution of Prabhupada. So that's how we can see the preachers, the Haricharyani Varnanam. So in that way, they glorified Krishna. So even by these engagements, the constant chanting, again, we'll read the translation. It is personally experienced by me. Me is who? Narad Muni. So Narad Muni is telling. So it is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects can cross the ocean of nescience on a most suitable boat. The constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Yeah, so I think we will pause it here. It's already 8:25. So if devotees have any questions, comments, whatever they can ask. Nothing? Yes. So we'll just summarize what we discussed. Initially, we saw about the senses and sense objects when they come in contact. So they produce some maybe kind of happiness. We can't say it is null, but usually when somebody gives you some rasgulla and then they say they usually if somebody gives you, you'll want to take it, no? What kuch jayega nahi hai, le lo kha lo. But if they say this rasgulla costs 1 lakh rupees, then you'll say bekar hai." Correct, no? Why? Because it is not worth the cost of it. Correct. So material happiness is like that. It is not worth the cost, the effort, the tremendous miseries that are accompanied with it. So it is not worth it. So that way they say that this is insignificant, it's bekar. So that we saw about senses, sense objects, when they come in contact, there will be some pleasure, but it is pregnant with misery, 2x 100x of misery. And then later we saw how to come out of it. That is by constant chanting of transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. That's basically um, engaging our senses in Krishna. So just change the subject matter. No need to stop our activities, just change the subject matter to Krishna. And then we talked about preaching. So basically constant chanting of transcendental activities is basically preaching about the glories of the Lord. We saw how for us it is like a engagement, just to engage our senses, our mind, so that it will not go for sense gratification. But for pure devotees, it is just the outpour of their love for Krishna and their compassion for the struggling, and then the living entities who are in the miserable condition in this world. So out of that love for Krishna and compassion for living entities, their that is the overflow of their love for Krishna. So we saw examples of Narad Muni and Prabhupada, and then yeah, we concluded there. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Krishna. And Krishna's understanding familiar rules and wonderfully describing how we can feel ourselves in service of God. Many points will be called practical points. Glorification of the Lord, then 41 before or Aravindaiah. The standard of Prasadam, spoken by devotee, offered by devotee, and served by devotee. So many examples from the life of Prabhupada, how just by giving in service, Prabhupada actually doubted the propensity to the devotees, and that's how they work in the conditions. That's what actually Narayana is saying. So the thank the Bishop for the wonderful Sri Maharaj, and only with that chapter he reached to Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.